must surrender if you can.
You're the light in my deepest, darkest hour.
I see your face again.
Are you ready to rediscover the electrifying era of 1970s rock and roll? Let's revisit some of the most iconic bands that define the music industry, from the raw energy of Led Zeppelin to the melodies of the Eagles and the rebellious spirit of the Ramones. Join us as we look back at 13 rock and roll bands in the 1970s we want back. Number 1. Led Zeppelin. Led Zeppelin was formed in 1968 in London. It was initially called New Yardbirds. It's known as one of the greatest bands of all time. The band included guitarist Jimmy Page, vocalist Robert Plant, bassist and keyboardist John Paul Jones, and drummer John Bonham. It drew styles from various influences such as blues and folk music. The band released their first album, Led Zeppelin, in 1969. It was a top 10 album in many countries. With tracks like Good Times, Bad Times and Dazed and Confused, the album gained significant recognition. They released 8 studio albums over 10 years, including Led Zeppelin II, also released in 1969, Led Zeppelin III, released in 1970, and the untitled 4th album, commonly known as Led Zeppelin IV, released in 1971. These albums featured many famous songs like Whole Lotta Love, Immigrant Song, and Stairway to Heaven. The iconic rock band Led Zeppelin significantly impacted the music industry, achieving remarkable success in various regions, including North America, Japan, Australia, and New Zealand. Known for their electrifying performances, they consistently drew crowds of approximately 50,000 fans at each show. Led Zeppelin performed an impressive 566 concerts throughout their career, solidifying their status as one of the most influential bands of their time. One of their most notable achievements was earning over $1.5 million from a single night performance. This feat shattered previous records for concert earnings and ticket sales, surpassing benchmarks set by the Beatles back in the 1960s. The demand for Led Zeppelin's concerts was unprecedented, with ticket prices reflecting their immense popularity. On average, tickets were priced at $130, though some could be found for as low as $91, making their concerts accessible to a wide range of fans and contributing to their legendary status in the history of rock music. Following the tragic death of drummer John Bonham in 1980, Led Zeppelin faced a turning point from which they could never fully recover as the original ensemble. While the remaining members occasionally came together for reunion performances, a complete and permanent band reunion remained elusive. In the wake of the band's dissolution, each member embarked on solo projects, discovering their distinct identities within the music industry. Despite pursuing separate paths, their contributions continued to resonate, showcasing their enduring talent and the indelible mark Led Zeppelin had left on the music world. Their albums sell millions of copies worldwide, and their songs remain classic rock radio staples. Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your wheels drive you crazy is a famous line by the band The Eagles. Number 2. The Eagles. The Eagles were formed in 1971 in Los Angeles, California. The band was created by Glenn Frey, a guitarist and vocalist, Don Henley on drums and vocals, Bernie Leadon on guitar, banjo and vocals, and Randy Meisner on bass and vocals. It became one of the most widely known bands in the 1970s. Take It Easy, Hotel California, and Desperado were some of the few songs that contributed to their success. The Eagles dominated the music industry, selling out arenas and stadiums worldwide. Their album, Their Greatest Hits, 1971 to 1975, became one of the best-selling albums ever. They have 6 Grammy Awards, 5 American Music Awards, 6 number 1 albums, and 5 number 1 singles. The Eagles were one of the world's best-selling bands, having sold over 200 million records worldwide. For the Eagles' 2024 tour, you can expect to pay $447.58 for a ticket to see the Eagles live in concert. For the seats away from the main stage, fans can buy tickets for $85.38, which is considered cheap. Seats near the stage can cost up to $17,275.68 per ticket. The Eagles have performed more than 1,000 tours over 50 years. Due to tensions within the band, Bernie Leadon was replaced by Joe Walsh in 1975. Randy Meisner left the band in 1977 and was replaced by Timothy B. Schmidt. Despite these changes, the Eagles continue to produce hit albums and singles. In 1980, due to a heated argument during a concert, the Eagles decided to disband. The band reunited in 1994 for the Hell Freezes Over tour and had great success. After that, they continued to do tours and release music together, including the album Long Road of Eden, released in 2007. Glenn Frey passed away in 2016, but the Eagles' music remains timeless. Bonded by music, not blood, the Ramones were a trendsetter. Number 3, the Ramones. With Joey Ramone, Johnny Ramone, Dee Dee Ramone, and Tommy Ramone as the original members, the Ramones was a name everyone knew back then. All the members adopted the surname Ramone, even though none were related, and then the Ramones were created in 1974. They were known figures in the punk rock genre. The band was famous for its short songs, melodies, and humorous lyrics. The Ramones built a dedicated fan following because of their rebellious attitude and lively performances. Their debut album, The Ramones, released in 1976, featured famous songs like Blitzkrieg Bop and I Want to Be Your Boyfriend. The Ramones performed 2,263 concerts, touring non-stop for 22 years. In 2014, their debut album, Ramones, became certified gold by the Recording Industry of America after selling 500,000 copies 38 years after its release. The Ramones ticket concert is around $97. The Ramones disbanded in 1996 due to tensions within the group and did not gain much commercial success. All the members eventually passed away. Joey Ramone in 2001, Dee Dee Ramone in 2002, Johnny Ramone in 2004, and Tommy Ramone in 2014. Who doesn't recall the tragic plane crash, forever taking away the icons of the 70s with it? Next up, we have Leonard Skinnard.
Would you still remember me?
Number 4, Leonard Skinnard. Leonard Skinnard was formed in Jacksonville, Florida in 1964. The original lineup included Ronnie Van Sant on vocals, Gary Rossington on guitar, Alan Collins on guitar, Larry Johnstrom on bass, Bob Burns on the drums, and Billy Powell on the piano. Their distinctive blues, country, and rock music styles made them famous. They became trendy for hits like Sweet Home Alabama, Freebird, and Simple Man. Their live performances, featuring dual lead guitars and Ronnie Van Sant, were very famous. Tragedy struck in 1977 when Ronnie Van Sant, Steve Gaines, and Cassie Gaines died in a plane crash. The band's future after the crash was almost doomed until Ronnie Van Sant's younger brother, Johnny Van Sant, took over lead vocal duties. Leonard Skinnard's Gary Rossington died at 71 in March of 2023. Rossington was the last surviving original founding member of the Southern rock band. The band continued to tour after his death. With over 28 million records sold, the band makes $539,754 per show, and tickets range between $44.10 to $473.60. The band did 18 tours over 51 years. Weird makeup and electrifying performances. Who doesn't remember Kiss? Number 5, Kiss. Kiss was formed in New York City in 1973 and became famous for its makeup, costumes, and high-energy performances. The original lineup consisted of Paul Stanley, the Star Child, Gene Simmons, the Demon, Ace Frehley, the Spaceman, and Peter Criss, the Catman, all comic book personas. With their larger-than-life personas, Kiss quickly became one of the most recognizable bands of the 1970s. They were known for their explosive live shows and theatrics. Kiss was loved by the audience for Rock and Roll All Night, Detroit Rock City, and Beth. Their albums, including Destroyer and Love Gun, succeeded wildly. The band has been touring for more than 40 years. Their dedicated fans, known as the Kiss Army, helped the band to superstardom. Kiss had the biggest concert in Brazil, with more than 1 million people in the audience. They did a farewell tour in 2000 and 2001, and the band made $50,000 to $60,000 per show. The price of a ticket for Kiss ranged from $234.97 to $2,120.81 per seat. The band has done around 2,990 significant tours. Kiss began to disband in 1980, with Chris leaving the band, who was later revealed by Fraley in 2011, was voted out of the band in a group meeting, followed by Fraley leaving the band in 1982 due to creative differences. Kiss did its final show in New York City and disbanded forever afterward. Next on our list is CCR, the short-lived but well-remembered name of the 1970s that spun the industry. Number 6. Creedence Clearwater Revival, CCR. Before being known as Creedence Clearwater Revival, the band went by several names, such as Blue Velvets and Gollywogs from 1959 to 1967. The band gained prominence in the late 1960s with its unique blend of roots rock, swamp rock, and blues-inspired music. The band consisted of John Fogerty, who was vocalist and lead guitarist, Tom Fogerty, who played rhythm guitar, Stu Cook, the bassist, and Doug Clifford, the drummer. CCR quickly gained popularity for its catchy singles, created by John Fogerty's vocals and memorable guitar plays. Hits like Proud Mary, Bad Moon Rising, and Fortunate Son made them one of the most liked bands. CCR enjoyed widespread success, releasing hit albums including Cosmo's Factory and Green River. From 1969 to 1971, they produced 14 consecutive top 10 singles. 45 million CCR records have been sold in the U.S. alone. The compilation album was released in 1976, but is still on the Billboard 200 album chart. The Recording Industry Association of America, or RIAA, has certified it diamond for at least 12 million copies sold in the U.S. The band did 7 major tours and 186 concerts overall. The tickets for CCR are $30.25 per person. CCR disbanded in late 1972 after 4 years of chart-topping success. Tom Fogerty left the band in 1971. John was at odds with the remaining members over matters of business and control, resulting in lawsuits among the former bandmates. The band has never publicly reunited, but Fogerty continues to perform CCR songs as part of his solo act. Next on our list is the Gibbs Brothers, who dominated the music industry from the 1960s to all the years yet to come. Number 7. The Bee Gees. The Bee Gees, short for the Brother Gibbs, were formed in 1958 in Queensland, Australia. The band consisted of brothers Barry, Robin, and Maurice Gibb. The Bee Gees gained international acknowledgement in the late 1960s with hits like To Love Somebody and Massachusetts. With the release of their album Saturday Night Fever soundtrack in 1977, and thanks to iconic tracks like Stayin' Alive and Night Fever, the Bee Gees were known as the Disco Kings of the 1970s. They became massively famous with sold-out concerts and chart-topping singles. The band earned multiple Grammy Awards and millions of fans worldwide. The Bee Gees have sold over 120 million records worldwide with over 140 tours. The Bee Gees ticket concert cost around $116.82 a ticket. Tragically, Maurice Gibb passed away in 2003. Barry and Robin continued to perform together until Robin died in 2012. Today, Barry Gibb is the sole surviving member of the Bee Gees. The brothers sang together in 2001 for the last time.
Like me, they long to be close to you.
Number 8. The Carpenters. The Carpenters consisted of siblings Karen and Richard Carpenter. They came onto the music scene in the early 1970s with their unique soft rock sound and Karen's angelic voice. The band was formed in 1969 in Downey, California. The duo gained popularity because of their heartfelt lyrics. Karen's voice and Richard's musical arrangements made the Carpenters internationally famous. Their famous songs, Close to You, We've Only Just Begun, and Rainy Days and Mondays became classics. They had multiple chart-topping singles and albums. They embarked on successful tours worldwide, captivating audiences with their soulful performances and impeccable musicianship. Between 1971 and 1975 alone, the Carpenters performed in over 800 concerts, showcasing their extraordinary work ethic and dedication to their craft. It's estimated that they have sold more than 150 million records worldwide, a testament to their widespread appeal and the timeless quality of their music. The tickets for the concerts cost up to $35 per person. Throughout their career, the duo achieved significant success on the charts, including one #1 album and 4 additional albums in the top 10. Their singles also resonated with audiences, with 3 reaching #1, 12 breaking into the top 10, and 20 becoming the top 40, solidifying their place as music legends. However, behind their seemingly perfect exterior, both Karen and Richard struggled with personal demons. Karen battled anorexia nervosa, which tragically led to her untimely death in 1983 at the age of 32. Richard continued to work in the music industry, but never quite reached the same level of success without his beloved sister. Next on our list is Steely Dan. Everyone loved the iconic duo of the 1970s, known for their musical approach.
Things you think are useless, I can't understand.
Are you reeling in the years? Stowing away the time.
Number 9. Steely Dan. Steely Dan was formed in 1971 by core members Walter Becker and Donald Fagen. It was a rock band known for its jazz-rock fusion sound and songwriting. This duo met at Bard College and shared a mutual love for jazz and rock music. They combined various elements of rock, jazz, funk, and R&B. Steely Dan quickly gained recognition for their unique sound. It released many successful albums, including Can't Buy a Thrill, Countdown to Ecstasy, and Pretzel Logic. Its unique approach set it apart from the usual music of that era. Even though they were widely known, Steely Dan was a studio-oriented band. They rarely toured and preferred to focus on their albums with attention to detail rather than making an international appearance. The band has done 35 concerts in 52 years of their career. They've sold more than 40 million albums worldwide. Depending on the theater, ticket prices can range from $28 to $1,100. In 1981, Becker and Fagen decided to take a break from Steely Dan to do solo projects. They reunited again in 1993 and continued to create music together, and 2 new albums were released after the reunion. They got a Grammy Award for one of those albums. They collaborated until Becker's passing in 2017. Following Becker's departure, Fagen hesitantly pursued their joint venture alone, continuing the group's legacy as its sole remaining member. Next, we have the Doobie Brothers. Still as popular as ever, the Doobie Brothers started their career in 1970 and haven't looked back ever since. Number 10. The Doobie Brothers. The Doobie Brothers were formed in 1970 in San Jose, California. They were known for their tendency to perform in different genres. The band's original lineup consisted of Tom Johnston, Patrick Simmons, John Hartman, Dave Sjogren, and Michael Hossack. The band gained widespread popularity in the early 1970s with hit albums like Toulouse Street and The Captain and Me. These albums had chart-topping singles such as Listen to the Music and Long Train Runnin'. The group makes over $299,000 per concert. The band still performs nationally and internationally and announced another tour of over 38 countries in 2024. The average ticket for the band cost up to $251.42. The band did 1,993 tours over 54 years. Tom Johnston's health issues forced him to leave the band in 1977 temporarily, and he was replaced by Michael McDonald, who joined the band as second lead vocalist in 1975. The band had frequent lineup changes until it eventually broke off in 1982. In 1987, the Doobie Brothers were reformed, with Johnston back in the lead. McDonald, who made several guest appearances, also returned to the band full-time in 2019 on the group's 50th anniversary. Number 11. Fleetwood Mac with the classic lineup. Fleetwood Mac was formed in London in 1967. The band comprised Mick Fleetwood, John McVie, Christine McVie, Lindsey Buckingham, and Stevie Nicks. In the early 1970s, Fleetwood Mac had an audition of Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks, whose arrival marked a turning point in the band's career. With Buckingham's guitar skills and Nicks' vocals, Fleetwood Mac released their self-titled album in 1975, commonly known as the White Album. It became a breakthrough, having hits like Rhiannon and Landslide. The band reached popularity with their 11th studio album, Rumors, released in 1977. The relationships within the band inspired the album's raw emotion and intimate lyrics. Rumors became one of the best-selling albums of all time, consisting of hit singles such as Go Your Own Way, Dreams, and Don't Stop. The band has done 1,863 concerts, averaging 1.5 to 2 million per show. Their numerous albums have sold over 100 million copies worldwide. Some of the recent tours have grossed 100 million. The tickets cost from anywhere from $128 to $2,000. Behind the scenes, the band fights with personal and professional challenges, including romantic entanglements and substance abuse issues. Following McVie's passing in 2022, the band decided to disband. The sentiment among the members was that McVie's loss marked a definitive end to their collective journey, despite previous instances of overcoming challenges. The remaining members focused on individual music projects, each finding new avenues to explore their artistic expressions. This transition was further solidified by Nick's viewpoint, which aligned with the consensus that there was no compelling reason to continue the band in the absence of McVie. Now we have the Sex Pistols. Despite their short career, they left a lasting mark on the music industry and popular culture. Number 12. The Sex Pistols. The Sex Pistols were formed in London in 1975. They came into the music industry with their raw energy, rebellious attitude, and punk ethos. The band consisted of Johnny Rotten, John Lydon, Steve Jones, Paul Cook, and Glenn Matlock, whom Sid Vicious later replaced. Their debut single, Anarchy in the UK, released in 1976, initiated a punk revolution that challenged societal norms and sparked controversy with its provocative lyrics and aggressive sound. The band's only studio album, Nevermind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols, released in 1977, was fueled by anthems like God Save the Queen and Holidays in the Sun. The album captured the frustration of British youth. The band did up to 13 concerts over 2 years. Internal conflicts and external pressure took a toll on the Sex Pistols, leading to their infamous breakup in 1978. The band couldn't stand being around each other, as reported. The disbanding of the Sex Pistols was marked by scandal, including Sid Vicious's drug addiction and the violent end of their U.S. tour. The surviving members contribute to the band's estimated 2024 net worth of around $8 million, combining their financial standings. Following their breakup, the members of the Sex Pistols started solo projects. Johnny Rotten reinvented himself as John Lydon and formed the post-punk band Public Image Ltd. Lastly on our list, we have Black Sabbath, the band known as the greatest metal band of all time. Number 13. Black Sabbath with the original lineup. Black Sabbath was formed in Birmingham in 1968. It's commonly known as one of the pioneers of heavy metal music. The band's original lineup consisted of vocalist Ozzy Osbourne, guitarist Tony Iommi, bassist Geezer Butler, and drummer Bill Ward. Black Sabbath's self-titled debut album, released in 1970, introduced audiences to the new metal music genre. Songs like Black Sabbath and NIB were proof of the band's unique sound. Black Sabbath, Deep Purple, and Led Zeppelin have been called the unholy trinity of British hard rock and heavy metal in the early to mid-70s. The band released many iconic albums such as Paranoid in 1970, Master of Reality in 1971, and Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath in 1973. Black Sabbath has sold over 70 million records worldwide, and the band was said to have made around 140 million through its records and tours. The tickets range from $50 to $70, and the band did up to 1,970 tours. Ozzy Osbourne's erratic behavior led to his departure from the band in 1979, marking the end of the original lineup's era. After Osbourne's departure, the band underwent multiple lineup changes. Iommi was the only constant member throughout the band's history. Despite the lineup changes and challenges they faced, Black Sabbath continued to release music and tour throughout the following decades. In 2017, Black Sabbath bid farewell to fans with their final tour titled The End. The tour marked the end of an era for the band as they performed their last show in their hometown of Birmingham. Today, the members of Black Sabbath have been working on individual projects. In 2023, it was announced that the band would reunite in 2024 for another tour.